they're urging mothers now to start feeding their kids peanuts from the day they're born.
I think that's a great idea.
Stop them getting allergies.
I think all these allergies that people have is because of the fact that we've tried to cleanse society so much. Wokeism is basically, I think its final significance is peanuts.
Yeah, well, if I have another child, which I won't, I'm going to feed it peanuts.
Same parents, different timelines, and united by chaos. Strap on, strap in, for the not-so-Christian brothers.
In terms of peanuts, I actually feel that when you're on a plane and then they say, sorry, somebody has got a peanut allergy.
Yeah.
So nobody's out open peanuts. I think the person who has the peanut allergy should be told to get a different plane.
There should be
or a boat, like a peanut boat.
Or a peanut plane. Or even the pilot has a peanut allergy.
Yeah, like exactly. So there's only one holiday a year, and that is for all the people who have peanut allergies.
Yeah.
Nobody else is allowed travel.
That's a good idea, yeah. They just go off to the Canaries, and the Canaries are just filled with people with peanut allergies.
Yeah.
And of course, we do take this very seriously, as you should with Traitors. You haven't watched it yet.
I'm not against people with peanut allergies. I just don't like it when I'm not let fly and eat peanuts.
You're not let fly with peanuts.
Yeah. I always have a packet of peanuts in my pocket. And we always have nuts. Terry, yet again, has pulled a blinder and brought us in some chocolate almonds.
Yeah, but he said he found them on the street.
Well, I don't really mind if he found them.
But if he found them on the street, that's actually rabbit poo.
It's tasty.
You haven't been watching Traitors?
No, I haven't. I mean, I know everybody's talking about it. But you know, in the last 30 years, I've spent a lot of time with many traders. So maybe I'll have PTSD if I watch it.
Possibly, yeah. It's really good. It's a really interesting show. Really interesting about human nature. So though it's on at the moment on the BBC, and it's celebrity traders. So you've got people like Jonathan Ross, Alan Carr, Stephen Fry, Claire Balding, Paloma Faith. There's a good crew in there. Nick Mohammed, who I love, a great actor and comedian. But so as you're watching it, you know who the traitors are. There's three of them. So Alan Carr, Jonathan Ross, and this girl. She's a young singer-songwriter, about 21. You look at her and you think, there's no way she's a traitor. She's brilliant, the way she's playing it. You look at Alan Carr and you go, nah, he's going to crack. You look at Jonathan Ross and you think immediately, yeah, he is a traitor. And they've almost got him. But at this stage, the human nature, the way it works, the mob psychology is brilliant because they will turn on somebody slightly, just by inference, like was Claire Balding. And then the others, the faithful, sort of come in behind it. And then it's almost like the traitors just stand back and let the faithful do their work. And then they have to vote somebody out. And they voted Claire Balding out. And you could see them all going, what are we doing? What is going on? Because they're being dragged around by mob psychology. Now, last week was interesting because one of the girls, young Irish actress, was convinced it was Jonathan Ross, was telling everybody it was Jonathan Ross, and the traders got around and said, look, we have to get rid of her. It's going to really put you up, but we got to get rid of her. So they did. So it's going to be really interesting this week how they're now going to deflect back. But it's just the human nature of mob psychology that I think is fascinating, you know?
It is. Yeah, it is great. I think you know, to survive that kind of thing, you have to really have like Teflon narcissistic behavior, right?
Yes.
I think if you look at it in the political sphere, when you see people castigated, a lot of times they implode and fall by the wayside. Like it's a very select percentage of people who are able to be with and be comfortable with constant abuse and actually go, I don't care, I'll just keep going. Yeah. And I always see that. I think most successful people I've ever seen in my life just only have, you know, forward as a gear. There's just no reverse. I mean, it's Margaret Thatcher. This woman's not for turning. Like, you have to have that absolute stellar focus that you will not change direction. And if you have it, you win everything.
And in Traitors, one of the really interesting things is Alan Carr is absolutely loving it. And he's the last guy you would expect. But now, obviously, there's no one that actually loses their life or a limb. But he's reveling in it. He's the one that's actually doing all the murdering. Like, and you just would never. I'm seeing a side of Alan Carr that is amazing. He's going to get another show out of this because he's just so good. But anyway, it's Wednesdays and Thursdays.
You know,
BBC.
I've worked with gay and lesbian folks over the years, and at a psychological level, they have an incredible strength. Because quite often...
I thought you were going to say there's incredible ability to lie.
well, you know, in part because quite often...
some of us all have an ability to lie.
Listen, we all lie 24/7, right?
You have to.
We've all lied all the way through our day just to get here at this moment.
Yeah.
But I think where you have people who are coming to the point of coming out of a closet, if they have been inhibited in terms of family scenarios, but also then when they come out, they're still in the line of fire because there's just a whole proportion of society who just won't like you simply because...
Well, what's that? What's bothering you?
Oh, nice. Well done.
That's Rebecca sorting out the curtain.
Simply because you're
Actually
gay.
came out from behind the curtain, from the closet that was there. Yeah. Go on.
Simply because you're gay or lesbian. Not you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you are. I mean, are you lesbian?
Yes, I am
You
lesbian.
look a
My
bit like
name
a
is-
lesbian.
my
Your
name is
hair is kind
Dorothy.
of getting
What a
longer.
way! What a way to kick off.
I
Are
need
you
to
a
do something with
lesbian?
my hair.
Are you a lesbian, Colm?
No, I'm not a lesbian. I have been called Dorothy down the street, but that's for a
It's a
different reason.
lesbian vibe off you sometimes.
There is, isn't there? Because
Yeah.
it's
A
quite effeminate.
Yeah.
But then I'd have to be female
Like, as in,
first.
you're very alpha male in some moments when
Yeah.
you're cross, but then there's a real lesbot feeling about you.
Yeah.
Lesbot.
And I like it. It's hot.
Like a militant lesbian. Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Like
Keep
you
talking
would-
dirty. Go on.
You would be at the forefront of the protest.
I would be, yeah, with, you say, the big boots.
What was your woman's name?
And
The
shaved
famous kind of
head.
militant and lesbian in
Colm
the 80s.
Hayes.
The militant lesbian.
Carmela.
No. Oh, God. what's her name?
The one that chained herself to the...
No. Later on. No,
Dana.
remember. No.
Oh, stop. Colm, just, why do you always have to bring some Eurovision star into everything? You've sold Traitors to me because actually before when I listen to people reviewing it, I'm like, it's not for me. I'm not into reality shows. I'm now literally dying to see that.
You've
because
got
it's
and if you-
intelligent.
If you can do it as well, if you've got a VPN, which is not a visible panty line.
I was going to say.
Yeah, VPN means you can...
Definite lesbian vibe there.
Yeah. I got to roll them out now throughout the entire
And in
episode.
fairness, your
Yeah.
jeans are so tight,
Yes.
your panty line is visible.
Yeah.
Actually,
you go.
can we do a whole show on your jeans?
Yeah,
Not-
the other thing that's really annoyed me if you're watching this on television is I've been shown too much sock lately.
Okay.
So
We're-
sorry, just a
Oh,
VPN
sorry,
means
yes.
that you can kid the BBC into thinking that you're in England, and therefore you can watch it on BBC Player, which is much better. And what we do is,
Kind of like a way of taking back 800 years of pain.
isn't it? Yeah,
Watch
give
their
it a
stuff
thing.
without paying the license fee.
Yeah, and just put your name down as Big Bogger Paddy Murphy, Huddersfield.
Oh my God. Okay, you and your
But it
VP,
means you could do. We do it on a Friday night. Then we do back to back. We have a traders night.
you and your VPL just sit tight there. Keep
All
your
right.
knickers in.
Okay.
We're chatting this week about. We were talking about anger last week with Grief Column, but now we're talking about angry men and the maybe rise or insurgents, or maybe they're always been there, but the incel groups and the leaders of our world who are angry. Are we heading towards, again, pretty patriarchal society, or is it all horseshit?
Well,
I blame wokeism.
I think you're absolutely right.
I actually think
Without saying wokeism was wrong.
correct. It's just overcooked,
Yeah.
you know? And I think like everything in life, yes, we have to get to the point where we have equal opportunities and rights, but the problem is that it was taken too far, and as a consequence, you then actually create fuel for these people who want to capitalize on it. And I think that is our big challenge. You know, we have to get to a point where there's a fairer society. But I think when you start to then say, well, the way to deal with racism is to create an equal and opposite level of racism towards the people who were racist in the first place, you actually create a circle that comes all the way back around again that goes, we hate you once more. And on it goes.
I don't disagree, and I think, you know, it depends on what the word woke is, but I just think I hate that word. I really do. But I think we got to a stage where we were, that is so dangerous on the sofa.
I like to live on the edge.
Sorry, if you're not watching this, he's just balanced a coffee cup on a really good sofa.
And he's smiling at it. I'm not sure why he's smiling at it.
Dylan was in today. We can get anything here today. So I like to think that we were becoming a more tolerant society, right? For a period of time. And we were becoming tolerant of people's views, people's attitudes. If I wanted to be, I think it went too far when I had the opportunity to identify as a cat, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen some of the the guys that were stopped by the cops in
Yeah.
the States, and they had the little thing on it, and they would only identify as a cat.
Yeah.
And there's one great one where a cop then calls a vet. So I think, but that's just sort of all the way down. I think we should be more tolerant. I think we should be absolutely more compassionate. But I think some people ran with that ball too far. I do agree. And what we've ended up now, especially with Gaza, with Ukraine and that.
The Gaza.
With the Gaza.
Famously scored a great goal in the 1996
Gaza,
European
yeah.
Championships. Different
It's
Gaza.
just become men sitting around. It's reminiscent of the 40s. So Ukraine, Gaza, it's all men. I'm not seeing, and then I'm seeing no tolerance. I mean, today I'm driving in, and no tolerance from Bush. He sent J.D. Vance over. I meant to send J.D. Vance over to sort something out. It's like sending over Noddy and Big Ears. But anyway, he said to Hamas, look, if you don't sort this out, we will eradicate you. No tolerance, no line in this, just straight out, we will eradicate you. As in saying, look, there are reasons why, because it looks like the IDF have now armed huge amount of anti-Hamas militants all around Gaza, and now they want civil war. Obviously, it'll give them another reason to go in.
Which is how the Mujahideen turned into turned into Al Qaeda and then ISIS, because the CIA were arming the Mujahideen in the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s.
Yeah.
So they were actually arming the Iranians to fight the Iraqis.
I know. So the
Iraqis to fight the Iranians.
So it's that all just taking control again. But he doesn't come out and go, look, I think there's two sides of war here. He has no tolerance, and I think this is the problem. And he just goes, if you don't do it, we eradicate you. And as Rory McIlroy said, them screaming on his wife playing golf a couple of weeks ago, right, was this whole bombastic Trumpism that you could just shout and scream and just push your way around the world. You know, the only way to get something done is to push guys out of the way. And it's so
I
yes.
agree with Roy Keane, though, on the Rory McIlroy thing.
Well, because in football, it's a lot different.
I just think if your wife is going to be a contentious matter when you're playing golf, she has to stay at home.
100%
Or
agree.
she has to turn up
No.
and be able to take it.
Okay,
right?
but
There's no middle ground.
And you
know
have
what
to
you're
look
going
at
to
that
get.
podcast. You have to look at that.
But just to say that golf, okay, golf.
I'm not saying women have to stay at home. I'm just saying
Stay-at-home women, golfers. No. What I'm
in
saying
this
to you-
new patriarchal
what I'm
society
saying
that
to
we're
you is
building.
golf has always had this air of being very respectful and nice, and you stay quiet when the guy's taking the shot. And then fast forward, 4 years, and Rory McIlroy's wife gets bottled. Now, I haven't seen many soccer wives get bottled.
Well,
But the problem is she walked. Maybe if they walked on the pitch, they would, but they don't walk on the pitch.
yeah, but in fairness, the Ryder Cup has been moving towards this. You know, the Americans
Bottling wives.
Well, no, but it starts off with the chanting, the problems, etc., etc. So I look. I think there is a time and place, and if you want to compete at an elite level, and if you want to win, you have to go there by fair meals and foul and win.
Yes.
And yes, Trump has created this, and yes, the patriarchal society has created this scenario right now where you have to win. And you know what? That's the direction of traffic for the next 4 years. You either have to be part of it in terms of your ability to compete against them, which Gavin Newsom, thankfully, is the only person in the US Democratic Party who's realized I have to fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
So, even the whole issue, without boring anybody on this, is that they want to reconstitute parts of Texas in order to create enough difference for the Democrats to win the midterms in 2026. And Gavin Newsom realized he had to have fight fire with fire. But I read an interview with him today where his best friend was saying, well, like 6 weeks ago, he was drinking too much and lost because he found it so difficult to understand, how do I get ahead of Trump when he's winning so well? The only way to fight these guys is head on. And that's
know.
the world we're in right now.
I know, but that doesn't mean you go and bottle Melania Trump. I absolutely agree. You got to fight them head on, but I just believe that we're losing because of
I'm not
because of
advocating,
Trump,
I'm not
because of
advocating
Netanyahu
violence. I'm
as well.
just saying that if you want to compete with somebody who has a gladiatorial mentality, which the Americans have right now, you got to be ready for what's going to come with it.
There's still no right to go around throwing bottles at people's wives on a golf course.
I think you have an actual right. Yeah.
Wasn't it
I
aimed at
don't.
him?
I agree.
though? Wasn't it aimed at him?
I'm not disagreeing with that.
There
But
was,
I just
there
think
was,
it's better to be prepared.
There was a great,
Have your wife at home.
There's a great Instagram. There's a great Instagram piece going around, and it's Marseille against Nice. Have you seen this playing last week? And they are traditionally kill each other, the fans. But Nice were going for a corner, and somebody threw a bottle and hit the Nice player, and he picked the bottle up and he threw it back at the guy, which meant then a charade of bottles came down. So all the Nice players came down and started bottling the fans. And then the fans broke over, and it just spilled out. Like, it was just craziness, you know. But again, I thought it's like the kung fu kick from Eric Cantona. You can sort of understand why he did it, and then the consequences of it. Well, look, see, he didn't play again for 18 months or 2 years. I just think do you know what I think we've lost because of this patriarchal thing. I think we've lost respect for human beings. And I think, you know, when Trump talks about all his warfare last week and his missiles, and we've got some great missiles and some good, everyone comes to us for missiles. Look, they kill people. You know, you're just so far removed from what you're doing because you're just so narcissistic. And the same with Netanyahu. You know, I just think we've lost. And if wokeism brought us something, which I hate that word woke, it brought us tolerance and it brought us compassion for people. And
Obama killed more people
Huh?
as a president.
Who?
Obama.
No, I'm not saying Obama.
I mean, America
He
was
didn't kill anybody, by the way. He didn't kill anybody.
under his instruction.
No,
he
didn't
did.
kill anybody.
No.
No,
U.S. presidents give orders, then
I,
people
okay,
die.
okay, well then I disagree with you completely because
I like Barack Obama,
90% of
but,
the bombs that dropped into Gaza were sent over by the US, and so we're looking at close to 250,000 people, men, women, and children, with the names of the companies that supplied those bombs from American industrial sites. So
Exactly. So the Israelis have been killing people forever. The Americans killing people forever. Everybody's killing each other forever. And I think we are in this patriarchal society. I don't disagree that that's happening right now. And I think all you can do is kind of counterbalance it. And you know, I'm involved in a transaction at the moment on a business side, and it's all men on the other side of the negotiation. And our winning process is that we have really smart women. Most of our lawyers and most of the people who are on our team are female. And it means that they see things differently.
Yes.
Men only see things generally in binary. It's either win or lose. Women see the middle ground. And that's where everything in the end, like whatever war is going on right now, it always has to be solved through negotiation.
But this isn't, do you know what? No matter what happens, it has to be solved. But we have men, generals, presidents who are throwing more young men, cannon fodder in front of bombs, minefields. And they know, like I read last week in one particular day, 15,000 Ukrainian soldiers were killed because the Russians put up a huge attack. But we all know this is going to be settled. At what cost? You know, the only cost is not that you gain 40 miles of land or whatever. The cost is that families have been destroyed. You know, wives have lost husbands. Fathers have lost sons. And these people, the Netanyahus and the Putins and the Trumps, they're so far removed from that and care so little that they will continually throw people in front of cannons. And I agree. I think if we had a more tolerant political sort of situation where we had women in charge, you wouldn't get that level because they're more empathetic. They're not going to lose their sons and
Are you
daughters.
talking about Dana or who?
I'm not talking about Dana, no. I'm talking about one of the Nolan sisters. But I'm talking about, no, I'm just talking about, listen, it's exactly what you said. They are more, they're more empathetic, they're more compassionate because they're mothers. They've carried children for 9 months. They know what it's like. They know what they carry. They have 2 lives inside them sometimes, 2 beating hearts. We can't even imagine what that's like.
No, but I also think...
We got a flaccid cock and a bad idea. Sorry.
Terry.
Speak for yourself.
Jesus
Well, at this
Christ.
point I have because I'm a practicing lesbian.
Have you tucked it in?
Language, please. Language.
I think
I'm getting angry again.
I think you also have to just bear in mind though that in this difficult time where we see Europe and it becomes very, very contentious, but we have to arm up. We have to create armies. We have to create strength because if you don't, Putin's ready to come.
Suppose in the political sphere across Europe, we're just not seeing enough compassionate leaders who are really trying to solve these things. I mean, even Ursula, is it van der Leyen? Ursula
Yeah,
van der Leyen?
Ursula van der Leyen.
Ursula van der Leyen. I don't see her as being a very compassionate person.
How could you ever possibly become a leader of an institution like the European Union or a country through compassion?
See, that's
Because you've got to stand on heads.
I
to
know,
win.
but isn't that unfortunate that that's what we've done?
Yeah.
Because also, if we had a European Union that worked its way through respect, through honesty, it's just that we have created a political society that is based on corruption. Good morning, Sarkozy, who's now in jail as we speak. But it didn't have to be like that. I mean, you look at Iceland, especially in the 90s, when it was an all-female government after the crash, and things were okay.
That was the last 10 years.
And,
the 90s,
and
it was
they
male.
never invaded anybody.
They only have 300,000 people, though.
But
The only thing they can invade
but
is
you
like...
never heard any shit going on,
Well, no, but there was huge levels of corruption. It was all male. But I think the reality is that corruption and the ideology of politics and how to win and to become a leader goes back to Greek times. Everybody at all points to be successful has had to stand on somebody else's head.
Does it not go back further than that? Is war and defiance and crushing other nations not part of our culture? And
Actually, do you know where it goes back to?
Exactly. I totally
back
agree
to
with
Cain
Terry
and Abel.
because at no point in history, except for the period of time after the Cuban Missile Crisis until the Berlin Wall fell down, or maybe you could extend that to the late 90s. We've killed each other for I don't know, a million years.
Well,
we don't have any idea what happened pre 10,000 years ago.
There's not a scripture in the world that doesn't have war and violence in it.
Well, we go back to the
Did Jesus advocate for?
We go back to Cain and Abel. Cain
If somebody stole his fish.
Cain killed his brother to be powerful, to be king. So the very first murder was two brothers. Hey,
Jesus, lads.
yeah. No, Jesus, lads, was much later.
It's hard to clean up that mess today.
Yeah. So, but that's yeah. Oh, okay, can I ask you one question? I think this is really interesting. Well, I think it's from my brain. Are women?
No.
I'm sitting like I am sitting here.
Are women more corrupt than men?
Oh, what?
Are women? Is there ability to make women more corrupt? Like we're seeing Sarkozy gone to jail. We know Netanyahu wants to continue the war because he could go to jail. Trump has been indicted on 34. Whatever. Are women more corrupt than men?
Oh.
I think what's always interesting in terms of the media is I think where females are corrupt or connected to corruption, the level of castigation that they get in the media is so much greater than men. Like I'm watching this TV show about the serial killer thing on Netflix at the moment.
This girl, your man.
Horrendous.
I can't watch it. Everybody I said they have nightmares.
I've watched the first episode, and me and Beatrice and Luca all looked at each other and thought we have to watch a bit of comedy now before we go to bed, right? Because it's
I hate
so
it after the
disturbing.
opening titles.
Oh, it's so disturbing. But the female in this German woman, is portrayed as this really attractive sexual deviant who's killing Jews and doing horrendous things, right, in World War II.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
And when you actually Google her to look at who she really was, she doesn't look anything like she's portrayed in Netflix. Right. So what we want to do with women when they're involved in corruption is to sexualize them and turn them into some kind of like bizarre, twisted sexual fantasy. I find that whole thing just super weird.
Can I say something that might be slightly controversial?
Oh, God.
Great. Can we get this as a clip for social media?
I'll try. I think one of the
get
reasons that women are less corruptible than men is because they're not in a position to be corrupted. In other words, they're not in a position of power to be corrupted.
Because they're at the sink. They're at the sink.
Yeah, so they're not like there's no female presidents, there's no female prime ministers. There should be, but there isn't.
There's so much penisy feeling in the room right now.
So therefore, there's no point corrupting a woman. They're not.
There's more women in C-suite positions in this country at the moment. There's more women that are now sitting at the Dáil than there ever was before. There's more women.
Well, what do you mean ever before? There was none at one stage.
I'm just saying we're certainly maybe quieter about rising to
and
the
you know
top.
what we do as well in Ireland, which I think is appalling, right? I'm going to say this as well. And I think there should be more women in politics, and there should be, but almost as to sort of to show, we're okay with women in politics. Let's put two forward for the presidential. But the president, it's just not. It's a ceremonial role.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
It's
and now we're going,
tokenism.
aren't Ireland great? We've got a female president. You've just put somebody in with no power at all.
Yeah.
You know, why don't we use that same amount of energy to do it in the Dáil? You know, but we don't. So.
Because women get their periods. They're too unpredictable.
No.
It's too
Man,
unpredictable.
sometimes I have terrible months.
Especially if you're Kathy Bates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think for me, at a personal level, the best directors and the best employees I've ever had have been female.
Yeah.
And I think it's because they've got a capacity to see things in a multi-dimensional fashion, and they're just way more organized. So I think if we did have an equal society, I think women could run it and rule it very quickly. But men are not going to give up that power, and that's why Trump is popular, because now men are like, holy schmoly, what if I lose? I don't really care who's the leader. I'm happy if my boss is
Put
female.
my 2 cents in on that.
Yeah.
No matter whether you're male or female, there's dickheads in the world everywhere. No matter what your sex or gender is. And we forget that.
There's more. I believe in, certainly when people go after power, there's more male dickheads than women. I don't believe women are as narcissistic and are as power hungry. I think some of them actually go into politics to try and make the change, to try and do some good. I'd say only about 2% of men go into politics to do that. They go in just to grab power. And that's what we do. You know, it's that male thing, which is really scary, you know.
It can be very attractive, which is scary too.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go.
Serious, yeah.
Well, would women find what's his name, Donald Trump, sexy and
Not at all, right? And you know my feelings. No, not at all. But
Some do, yeah.
power can be very attractive.
yeah.
So I'm not talking about Trump or Epstein or all the pricks in the world. I'm not talking about them. I'm saying power can be, unfortunately, very attractive, engaging. And I'm not talking about money, by the way, or sex. Power.
Which is interesting though, because especially if you look at how modern democracies have evolved, if you go back 100 years ago, in most countries you could become powerful in political terms without money. But now we've created a situation where you need to have money to get power.
Yeah.
And the two things are actually quite separate, because when you actually get enough money that you can buy anything, the only thing that's left to crave is power. And when you get absolute power, the only thing that's left to crave is absolute money. So even when you have Trump, who is a billionaire who becomes the president, he has everything in theory, but actually what does he really want? He now wants to be the most wealthiest person in the world. So he wants to be wealthier than Xi Jinping or Putin, who are regarded as the two wealthiest people.
But he wants to rule the world. I think Putin and Putin and definitely Trump want to rule the world. They have this like sort of Star Warsy thing, you know, that they're going to be the head of the empire, and that we'll be grand then because we might be invaded at some stage by the aliens. But that they want to create an empire, and the empire is global, and Trump is the head of this global empire. I think that's what he sees at night when he goes to sleep in his Trump underpants, you know, saying I love Trump across them.
I think that will happen. I think we'll eventually lose.
Hopefully not under Trump.
No, I think he'll be dead, but I think Baron Trump or somebody will probably be like Darth Vader in the end.
I do have this vision going forward that you know
Your hand is up in a very bad way.
Your hand is not in the right place there.
Is that Doctor Strange something?
It's just really.
That was a perfect
It
moment.
was a bit Monty Python-esque as well.
I was pointing into the future.
It was so weird. Let's just not use that as a social.
I was pointing into the future. I do have this vision that, yes, we will be contacted within the next 100 years by a very strong alien force, and that we will have to be globalized.
Hold your knickers. That's a whole other topic.
There's no point of us fighting each other and then these lads come down going zappity do that. But you see the other thing NASA revealed during the week?
Yes.
They said that they reckon aliens have become bored of us. So they've bypassed our planet now. And they've gone off to the next one because we're just bored.
You saw the thing about AI in 20 years' time. They'll be smarter than any person going through master's PhD. That's it now.
Yeah,
that's like 3 years away.
Okay, not so Christian brothers. You need to go to our Instagram page. You need to follow it. You need to see all of the wonderful clips that we have, but you also need to like, subscribe, share this podcast. Yeah. We are only getting bigger and better. Justin Caffrey and Colm Hayes. A fabulous episode, and if you want to see Colm's VPL, go to YouTube.
And also give us some DMs as well. If you want to get part of this conversation, you know, we can continue. We'd love to get your opinions because we're self-opinionated. You know, well, one of us is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we are brothers. Thanks for watching.